Okay, so we are doing question B8 of Science Paper 1, 2019 School Certificate. Last time we were doing question P7, which was based on electricity. So make sure you watch that video in case you haven't watched, and you get some concepts, some important concepts which I actually explained. Alright, so make sure you subscribe in case you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, because on this channel we learn mathematics, we learn biology, we also learn chemistry, and we also learn science paper 1, which is physics, as you can see. Make sure also you click on the notification button so that whenever I actually upload any video, you get to know. Alright, so let's go to the question. So the question reads, a cell phone charger has a transformer with 200 turns in the primary coil, which converts 240 volts AC to 6 volts AC, and a rectifier that converts 6 volts AC to 6 volts DC. Okay, so this is a question. So we have a phone charger which is having a transformer, and this transformer has got 200 turns in the primary coil. This same transformer converts 240 volts AC to to 6 volts AC, and also it has a rectifier that converts 6 volts AC to 6 volts DC. Okay, so what is the question? The first question you have been told to actually actually state or to give the representation of these two letters AC and also DC. Okay, what do letters AC and DC stand for? Alright, so when talk of AC and DC, so for question A, when talk of AC, alright, so it is in capital letters, I mean in small letters. When talk of AC, we are just talking about what? Alternative what? Current. Alternative current. Current. Okay, so this is what these two letters represent. Alternative current. Okay, alternative what? Current. So just know that whenever you have been given these two letters, AC, and then you have been also given DC. Okay, we have been given DC. Just know that this C represents nothing but what? Current. So the difference here is that here you have A, here you have what? D. So this A represents nothing but alternative. The current which actually changes the direction many times in a second. But now what about DC? What about DC? So when you talk of DC we're just talking about direct what? Current. So these are what these two letters represent or stand for. So AC represent what or stand for what? Alternative current, the current which changes the direction many times in a second. But when we talk of DC, we're talking about the current which actually moves in a specific direction. The direct current which actually moves directly. That is the DC we are talking about. That is the direct current we are actually talking about. So AC, that is alternative current, DC, direct current. So that is the answer for question what? For question A. Okay, I hope you have gotten the concepts. I hope you are writing somewhere. Let's go to question B. I want you to actually understand this question. I want you to observe what I'll be answering this question, so that in case you have been asked to actually solve this same question, you do it with minimum mistakes or without any mistake at all. Okay, so now what is our question? How many turns are in the secondary coil? How many turns are in the what? In the secondary coil. How many turns are in the secondary coil? So I've been given this transformer, and this transformer, according to what you have been told, we have been told that this transformer has got what? 200 turns in the primary coil. And this transformer converts 240 volts to what? To 6 volts. So what is important in physics, whenever you have been given a data like this, make sure you collect the data so that it will be very easy for you to come up with a formula. So the first thing you are going to do, you are going to correct what our data. So I've been told that this transformer is having what is having 2000 what times, not 200 but 2000 times in what in the primary coil. So number of times in the primary coil, we have been told to say we are having 2000 times. Then also this same transformer, we have been told to say it converts 240 volts to what? To 60 volts. It converts 240 volts to what? To 60 volts. So what I want you to understand is that for this transformer to convert this 240 volts then to 6 volts, it means that this is the input what? Voltage. Then this voltage is the output what? Voltage. And since this is the input voltage, it is just the same as the voltage which is found in the primary what? In the primary coil. I hope you are getting it. So this transformer converts this one to this one, meaning this 240 is the voltage which they are putting in. Then the outcome is what? Is 6 volts. And this outcome is where we're going to find this outcome or output. We are going to find it in the secondary coil. What about this input? They are going to actually put in it in the transformer via the primary coil. I hope you are getting it. So this is the primary voltage and this is the secondary what? Secondary voltage. I want you to get those points. You need to understand those 2 points in case they have not told you directly to say this is the primary voltage and this is secondary voltage. In case you have actually written something like this, you need to know that the input voltage is the one which is found in the primary coil, and then the output voltage is the one which is found in the what? In the secondary what? Secondary coil. So what we are saying is that I thought to say the number of times in the primary coil, is 2000 times, and then our voltage in the primary coil, we have been told that is what? We have 240 V. Make sure you write a capital letter V. Yes, because if you write a small letter, then you are writing something else. So you need to make sure you write a capital letter V, because this is symbol for voltage. Then the voltage in the secondary coil, the output voltage, you have been told to say that it is what? It is 6 volts. I hope you are getting it. So now we have been told to calculate now the number of times in the secondary coil. Having been given this information, we have been told to calculate the number of times in the secondary what? In the secondary coil. Very simple. So this is the formula which we are going to use. So make sure you master this formula which I'm going to actually show you. Okay, so now how do we calculate the number of what? The number of times in the primary, I mean the secondary what? In the secondary coil. Okay, so this is a formula. So the formula we normally use, we are going to say voltage in the secondary coil over voltage in the primary coil, okay, is equal to number of times in the secondary coil over number of times in the primary what? Coil. This is the formula we normally use. You need just to master that. Always we begin with writing the voltages, and then what you need to begin with is the secondary what? Voltage. Same applies to the secondary what? To the number of times. So we begin by writing the number of times in the secondary coil, then we actually divide it by the number of times in the primary what? Primary coil. Okay, so now according to our data, what we are having is that the secondary coil, I mean the secondary voltage which we have been given, according to our data, we have been given 60 volts over what is our voltage? What is our voltage? What is our primary what? Voltage. According to the question, the input voltage is what? Is 240, which is equal to, okay, which is equal to the number of times in the secondary coil is the one which we have been told to actually calculate. So we are going to write it just like this. Then over okay, over the number of turns in the primary coil. The number of turns in the primary coil have been given that it is what? 2000. Okay, I'm sure you are able to see what you are writing. Alright, so now, since we have actually written the formula and we have actually plugged in our values, let me just delete this part so that we can actually answer this question very neatly. Okay, so now what we're going to do is that since we are having an equal sign here, we are going to do a cross multiplication. So we are going to have this times this 240 times what? Times the number of turns in the secondary coil. We are going to have 240 number of turns in the secondary coil, which is equal to this is 6 times 2000. 6 times 2000. Okay, before you can even this is the best way of actually solving some questions in case you are dealing with mathematics paper 1. In case you have reached this extent, what you need to do, because if you actually multiply these numbers directly, 6 times 2000, you are going to actually find that it will be very difficult for you to come up with an answer. So what we normally do, we just write 6 times 2000. Have you seen? This is how we do it. And then, since we want to have the number of coil in the secondary, the number of turns in the secondary coil, we're going to divide it by 240. 240. Okay. So now, this one is going to cancel. Then the number of turns in the secondary coil, what we are going to have is that we are going to actually do this 0. We'll cancel with this 0, and then if you divide, this is 6 into 24. What we are going to have is that we are going to have 1, and then here we are going to have something like 4. And then if you divide 200 divided by 4, what we are going to have is what? 50 times. 50 times, and this is exactly the answer. I hope you have seen how I've answered it. I've answered this question without using a calculator, and this is the best way of actually handling mathematics paper 1. I hope you'll be following me. Whenever I'll be teaching mathematics, make sure you actually pay particular attention so that you see how we handle mathematics without having many difficulties. Because I know that there is no, they do not allow to use a calculator. So now, this is the method we normally use when we want to actually handle this question with minimum. I mean, when we want to actually handle mathematics with minimum difficulties. Alright, so that is how we actually answer this question. So now let's go to the second question. If you want to prove that what you have answered is correct, you just have to actually compare the number of times, the number of coil in the primary, the number of times of coil in the primary to the you compare it to the number of times in the secondary. What you are going to have is that you are going to have a ratio. Let's say, for example, maybe you have 1 to 2, and then if you compare also the voltage. If you compare the voltage, you are going to find that you are going to also have 1 to 2, and that is how we prove. You just have to get this number of times in the secondary coil. You compare it to the number of times in the primary coil. The ratio you are going to have, the same ratio you are going to have if you compare it. If you compare now the voltages, the two voltages, the voltage in the primary coil and the voltage in the secondary coil. All right. I hope you are getting it, and I hope you are actually getting something from what I'm explaining. Okay, so now let's do the last question. Okay, so the last question, we have been taught to actually this is question C. Draw a label diagram of a step down transformer. So I've been taught to actually to draw a step down transformer, a step down, and we need to label it. Okay, so it is very simple for us to calculate for us to draw the step down transformer. So this is how you need to do it. Okay, so now after having done that, what you need to know is that always a step down transformer always it has main number of turns in the primary coil as compared to the number of turns in the secondary coil. It actually has few number of turns in the secondary coil as compared to the number of turns in the primary coil. So this is the load. Let's say, for example, it has been connected to a certain electrical appliance. Okay, this is the load. Since you have been told to actually label it, and this is the soft iron core. So this is the soft iron core. This is the iron core, and this is the secondary coil. This is secondary coil. The secondary coil, and this is what the primary coil. I hope you are getting it. Okay, and this is the AC supply. This is the what? The power supply, where it is connected to the power plant. Okay, so this is how we actually draw it. The main point I want you to be remembering, whenever I've been taught to actually draw a step down transformer, make sure you show clearly that the number of turns in the primary coil are more than the number of turns in the secondary coil. That's why it is even called a step down transformer. I'm sure you're getting it. That is why it is even called a step down transformer, because it reduces voltage due to the fact that it has more number of turns in the primary coil as compared to the number of turns in the secondary coil. I hope you have enjoyed my video. Don't forget to put a like, don't forget to put a comment, and if you have any questions, make sure you actually put them in the comment box. In case you want to reach out to me, make sure you inbox me on WhatsApp, and also I will add you to my WhatsApp group. So just inbox me using this number 0976 97 58 98, 0976 97 58 98. And also make sure you actually follow me on Facebook. My Facebook page is Mr. Distinctions. For any updates, make sure you actually follow me on Facebook. Otherwise, for today, we are going to end here, and I'll be answering this question paper. As you can see, so far we have answered question B6, question B7, and this is now question B8. So make sure you actually click on the notification button so that whenever I upload a new video, you get to know. Otherwise, goodbye.